The 2024 Paris Olympics, the motto is faster, higher, stronger, together. Now, like Annette said, we don't have to put a lot of pressure on ourselves, but those folks sure put a lot of pressure on themselves to do the work. Did anybody see the 12 feet of air that Simone Biles got? She blew me away. Whew, on the floor routines. But how about pommel horse guy? Anybody know pommel horse guy?
Superman.
Pommel horse guy, self-described nerd, Stephen Nidorsik, was in Paris to do one thing. And there was some controversy about it, actually, that there was a one event guy on that team. But as his name was called, and he roused up. He looked like, I don't know if anybody was watching, he looked like he was kind of taking a nap, his head's back, and he was sitting there in the chair. And you know, and he totally got the nerd thing going on, and I have nerds, my sons. So nerds inherit the universe, right? Exactly. Go nerds. But his name is called, he's up. He whips off those Clark Kent glasses, and he goes out there and he kicks some butt on that pommel horse. He helped that men's gymnastic team, the U.S. men's gymnastic team, win their first medal in 16 years at the Olympics. It was pretty cool. That was the one event guy. Yeah, he broke the internet. If anybody's seen any of the memes about him, it's actually pretty funny. So what do I mean by the Olympics of love? Of course, we've talked here so much about love. We talk all the time about mindfully practicing compassion, mindfully showing acts of love, and how the intentional doing actually strengthens parts of our brain, the compassion and love areas in our brain, so it's easier to do the more we practice. And we talked about how any routine in life, spiritual routine, daily routines of any kind, it takes self-discipline and perseverance, like an Olympic athlete. Day-to-day life sometimes feels like you're an Olympic athlete trying to get through the event. And that's okay, that's part of being human. And actually the Gospel of John actually recounts Jesus's feeding thousands with those 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. That was showcasing his love in action. And he spent time with and healed the sick, and he spent time with and forgave those who were considered sinners by the culture of his time. He was doing the work. Jesus was doing the work or workout. Jesus practiced, and practiced. Now there's a gentleman named James Tallarico, who's actually a member of the Texas House of Representatives. And he gave a talk at the St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church he goes to. It's actually a couple years ago. And I'll tell you what, it was so good. I really thought about just broadcasting the 18-minute YouTube thing and calling it a day, kind of thing. But yeah, I know. But he reminded his congregation, the congregation he goes to, that Jesus' community wasn't called Christian. It was called the Way. And it was built on radical love. And so James talked about how other religions actually, say Taoism for instance, teaches how the soft overcomes the hard. You know, the water wears down the rocks. The wind takes out the mountain. The grass bends the concrete. Those darn weeds that pop up around the concrete.
Yeah.
And the meek inherit the earth. Go nerds! James said also to his congregation there, our Buddhist friends tell us that compassion takes practice. Where have you heard that? We've talked about it many times. I just said it. And he was relaying to them how neuroscientists tell us we can become more empathetic and compassionate if we work at it. Again, data. There is clinical data. He's told them that things like love, peace, and hope require strength training. It's a muscle in your brain. It requires strength training. He called it a gym for the heart. So those gymnasts or swimmers or whatever, they're going to their workout at the gym or the pool. We're going to our workout every moment of the day. It's a gym for the heart. Can I move to Texas and vote for this guy, do you think? I mean, he was great. If you ever want to see his whole 18 minutes, it's fabulous. But there's some simple things that we can do, and we've talked about a lot of these before, to get that love workout. We don't have to be Simone Biles and compete in every event. Like Annette just said, we can be the Steven Dorsick and do one simple thing. Not that pommel horse is simple. If you saw the guy flying around on that pommel horse, it's pretty impressive. But, you know, in relation to those other athletes that did compete in every event, it's different, but it was okay. And he was one of the cogs in the wheel that helped them win. Just like we're parts of the cogs in God's wheel. We come here on Sundays for inspiration, for a hug, for a smile, to remember that we're all connected. You're getting your workout. Some days, some Sundays are hard to get here. It takes the discipline and to give whatever, whether it's your time or your money. Sometimes it's hard. Again, it's part of our job. So another example, though, of sort of that simple thing. My mom transitioned about 1.5 years ago. I know a lot of you are aware of that, and so I've been slowly going through a lot of her things. You know, you do this in waves, I guess. It's kind of a slow process. You get rid of a bunch, and the things you can't quite get rid of, you hang on to, and then 1.5 years later, you're still doing that, slowly but surely. Several months ago, I came across this little bag, and it was stuffed with pieces of paper, folded up pieces of paper. It wouldn't completely close. It's got one of those magnet-y things here, right? And this bag's been sitting on my kitchen counter for months. John would tell you a year. It's not been a year. It might feel like a year. It's not been a year. But I kept thinking about emptying it. Yes, relative. I was actually thinking, though, about doing it. I've got nobody, when I die, nobody else is going to want this. And so I decided I was going to go through these pieces of paper. Just kept putting it off, because I remember what's in here. And I just couldn't bring myself to it. Then John suggested I take pictures of each one when I bring it out. And that way it won't really be gone. I thought, oh, I can do this. So he takes off for baseball one night. He had a game. And okay, this is it. This is the night. You see, my mom and Del, my stepdad Del, were married on March 15th, 1998, and they were in their late 60s. He left my mom anniversary notes every month because he knew how precious their time was. They were already in their late 60s, and so the 15th of every month, he had on the kitchen table something like, it's just, okay, this one's a napkin. This one was a napkin. I was doing this, love you, this is, and he had taped coins to match the date, the month. So this one's 75, 85, 95, 99. So this was their 99th month. It was stuffed with these. And, you know, just whatever piece of paper he had on hand, he'd pick it up. One time it was actually a piece of toilet paper. I'm all worried about this one. I'll go sanitize my hands. It's been a few years. Anything there's dead, probably now, but. And one of my favorites, that's one of my favorites actually. But the other one is this MapQuest, old printout of a MapQuest, directions from my aunt's house in Arkansas. But anyway, you get the idea. You get the idea. And so he did this for, well, they were married 13 years. That's 160 months. And he didn't do it the last, I don't know, probably a year because he was ill. But, and there's missing months. I've got all these papers There's some missing months. I went through and tracked to see what months each one was. But I really kind of think my mom was probably pissed off at my dad at that point. And she tossed a few of them because she was mad. She could do those kind of things. He had the patience of a saint. But the last one was their 122nd month. That's when he got too sick to do it. This small task of writing a short, happy anniversary, I love you, happy whatever month, took my stepdad, it took him self-discipline and perseverance to do that every time. Continuous, simple acts of love, a testament. Whew. So in the beginning, she didn't save them. She didn't have, the first one was from the 23rd month. Because I can remember going over there and seeing them in the beginning on her table, and the coins. I said, what is this? And she's, oh, Dell. My mom was the pragmatic one. He was the romantic, emotional one. Oh, Dell, he's doing this silly thing. Well, eventually, it wasn't silly to her anymore. On July 27th of this year, Ernest Holmes' Science of Mind magazine posted a 100-day challenge. And that was 8 days ago, so we got 92 days left, is to practice mindfulness every day until the election, leading up to the election. So that was 8 days ago. You know, think about it. Mahatma Gandhi told us that the pure love of one person can offset the hatred of thousands. So in the midst of the noise, whether it's on the airwaves and the radio, on the screens of your TV or computer or phone, or in your mailbox. Oh my God. Is anybody else tired? Getting either the calls or texts or the mailbox at the door. So in the midst of all of that might strike a chord that makes you want to spiral and get tight, I challenge you to practice a simple, intentional act, a mindful act of love. It could just be a smile. It could be holding someone's hands. It could be sending a prayer. It could be doing something for yourself. You know, we need to treat ourselves with acts of love, right? It could be remembering a dear friend. Thank you so much for invoking Bridget. Yeah. Yes. So I challenge you. Who takes the challenge? Is anybody going to commit to the challenge with me? Sure. All right, thank you for those you do. And if you miss a day, don't beat yourself up. We're human. Okay, so flex those muscles. Flex those love muscles so you can stand tall on that Olympic of love gold medal podium.